Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Blackshirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
Hey, good morning. What up? This is Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. We are here again early on a Sunday. That will be changing very soon. I think that me and Harrison will like it. I think our body clocks will appreciate not getting up at like 6 o'clock on a Sunday, even though we're not. Yeah, even though we're not playing. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have, we didn't feel we're not in bowl practice or anything like that, but. Still, nevertheless, I feel like Inside the Huddle has grown enough to move it to a different time. So in the next week or two, it'll be an announcement when we will be moving, most likely to a Monday slot, 12 to 1, once a week, along with some other potential schedule changes. But that's some exciting news, and definitely be excited to sleep in every once in a while. And you know what, Harrison, we still have the 7 a.m. time. The one thing about 7 a.m., Harrison, nobody wants this time. Only a true soldier gets up at 7. You know what I'm saying? To come in here. Everybody thinks like when you do a show at 7, that's when you get up and do the show. That's not what happens. It's like literally a 5:30. Hit a snooze a couple times. How many times do you hit snooze?
I try to keep it at 2.
Right.
But I know that shower, like I'm taking like a 1-minute shower out the door because I'm hitting it couple too many times.
Yeah, I'm a 4 snooze. Now it depends if I spend too much time in the garage. Big shout out to the garage, by the way, where we had the live pregame show, postgame show, in-game kind of commentary. We got some friends that like Fat Bottom Betty. So if anybody that owns a cigar shop, you want to donate, we are up for that. Shameless plug there. Early in the morning, Harris. I'm going to do it all, man. I'm just going to go ahead and just press everybody's buttons. Then I'll shower at night. Okay? So then that allows me to go to about 4.5 to 6 snoozes. So what I'll do is, here's the plan, is if I know I got to get up early, so I'll set the alarm at 5:30, knowing I don't have to get out of the house, right? So then that gives me more snoozes. And then I have another, if I'm just not feeling it, then I call it a red alert alarm. That is the whole nother alarm, so it's
I got one of those. That's my 6:20. You better be on the move.
That's it. That's when, that's when, hey, Harrison, I'm running late. And here's the difference. It's great to be down here at 1040 O Street live in effect. But it is about I think when it was at 48th and kind of O, I could get there. I've gotten there in about 8 minutes. Like That's the average.
Mhm.
I've gotten there sometimes if you catch all the lights and stuff like that and everything's flowing good, under 8 minutes. Here, it's 20 for sure.
Yeah, I'm coming from South Side, and my biggest mistake, I'm like, no traffic, no problem. Traffic lights don't stop.
Right.
I'm still hitting every red regardless.
Well, here's the deal. It's like 5:30 p.m. or 4:15 to 5:30 p.m. You hitting every red light.
Yep.
5:30 a.m. to about when we come in here, we hitting every red light. So that's where it's at, man. It's all good. It's I appreciate it though, but we got some good stuff coming up. But inside the huddle, obviously this is Nebraska's not playing anymore, but they are well into recruiting season. That is recruiting, trying to put the finishing touches on their early signee classes, which is coming up December 20th, I think, and we'll have a signing day show. It'll be all 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. probably, and then they are into the transfer portal recruitment as well, which is huge. I think it's twofold, Harrison. I want your opinion on this. Is like, Matt Rules came in and done a good thing of kind of reshaping the culture or taking what was done, in a positive light before, doing his thing. I think Nebraska has a pretty good handle on initial NIL, as far as like making sure the guys that are, I'll call them homegrown, right? Those are the guys that you've been recruited, you've been in the program. Their NIL, I think, is pretty good. And I think the lines of communication, I keep saying, I say it all the time on Old School, that has been pretty good. And that, therefore, the lines of communication, if it's clear and honest, and you have, I call it tangible facts of backing up your words as a coach and as a player, where it works out in a positive manner, or if you get held accountable if you don't do something, athletes are adaptable and can handle that. So that's why you have only four players from Nebraska when you haven't made a bowl game in some years. In this team here, you don't have a mass exodus of players in the transfer portal, at least as of yet. Knock on wood. And so I think that's gives the coaches and the coaching staffs, I think, a little bit more strength to go out there when they're talking to potential transfer portal guys and potential if they're high school recruit guys. Because we've seen a couple kids open up their recruitment. You don't know if that was a mutual decision or just something, things have changed. Because if your culture works or is working, you probably should, and I'm assuming they do have a better idea of what they're looking for to bring into the fold. And had a pretty big transfer portal class last year. Probably learned some stuff. Obviously had some, probably had a good mix of guys you could depend on, guys that need to develop, like a Kai Whalen that, coming from JUCO needs to get used to playing in this type of environment. And then you had the, a Reed Gilbert thing where it was kind of like a boomer bust, right? And so you had three different types of, athletes that you brought in. In your opinion, do you think Nebraska should work quick, be patient, or wait to the very end to see who else jumps in the portal? Because you say a team that has a couple good players plays early in the bowl game, like next week. There'll be guys that jump in the portal off of those teams as well, don't you think? Or what do you think their game plan should be?
Yeah, well, I think you mentioned it's big. You only have 4 guys in the portal right now. Knock on wood, hopefully that doesn't get any bigger. But it's nice to know that you have a pretty good idea on what you need. I'm assuming there's probably still some guys you're wondering if they're going to hit the portal. They're probably having those conversations with those players. No one Rule, he's pretty straight with those players, whether, it's their decision. But I think they seem pretty aggressive right now with the quarterback. You're hearing a lot about Kyle McCord and all that going down. But I honestly think that you can take your time on this one. Yeah, be aggressive with the guys who are out there now, but you want to keep that portal open because there's going to be players late in there hopping in the mix. But you just got to know what you want. If you got your guy right there, don't drag your feet on it. If you see the guy early, there's no problem. Go after him early. But there'll be some guys here, maybe some wide receivers down the stretch that hop in the portal. Maybe we can get those in the mix. But I do think they're pretty aggressive right now. The way it seems, it looks like they're attacking the portal aggressively early.
Yeah, especially with the quarterback position. Obviously, it's been something that they want to address, and they don't have to come out and say it. It's the actions, right? And that's what you want. I think people would have some issue if they were just staying pat. And that's in this day and age, college football, you can't. You can't. You cannot. I mean, even though the college football playoff teams are set, I can guarantee you they're having meetings about who's in the portal and what they potentially need in the portal for next year. You're going to have guys declare for the NFL draft. You're going to have guys that are going to jump into the portal, maybe even as soon as after the first college football round of playoff games, right? And then you have people that flip or kids that flip commitments, decommitments, and then they might even say, you know what, I don't want to sign to the later signing period. Well, then you don't know whether they're coming or not. So that your roster is constantly, I wouldn't say in flux, but it could be some change. So I think it's one of those things that it's good to see that they're out there trying to, get the initial intel on them, meet them, and see them, and then you see some guys that end up, already kind of like the Baylor quarterback that maybe Nebraska met with. He's going to Mississippi State, so obviously he's off the list. And then they obviously spent some time with Kyle McCord, Michigan State's true freshman quarterback Levitt, and then Will Howard. And so I think it's just one of those things where the fit and the dynamics outside of football all work together. And look, Kyle McCord I think has 1 year. Will Howard has 1 year. Levitt has 3 more years, of eligibility left. And so you have to make sure you have to, make a good decision that what you're trying to do and build your program and really what you're expecting as soon as next year, possibly out of whoever comes into the transfer portal and, Heinrich Harburg and Chuba Purdy, they have to accept the challenge as well, because let's just play devil's advocate. If Sam Levitt comes in here, there's no guarantee he's starting.
Yeah, I hope not. Right, that's the kind.
Well, you ain't done nothing.
Well, it's even when we're watching Michigan State. That's not a guy. That's a competition between. If he's in the room with Purdy, those guys better be a competition. I hope it's not just.
Well, no, I think Matt Rule and them has shown you that you're coming in here to compete, and if a guy like Levitt comes in, him and Purdy are going to battle it out, and it's probably going to be all the way down to the very last pass in fall camp. Which will probably bring out the best in both of them. Kyle McCord, probably a little bit more assumptive, but he still has a room to improvement. Will Howard along the same. And, when you look at, and who knows who, and the one thing I'll say this, Harrison, is I think this staff does a good job. They probably have a couple guys they're talking to that nobody even knows on the good old message boards and X and all that. And that's fine. And really that's what they should do. And part of it is they're doing their business, doing their due diligence. The other part is that they don't want to play their hand for another potential team to snag them away from them. So look, at the end of the day, January 15th ain't changing. So we're like a month away. I mean, I know it's December 9th, but or what is it? Today's 10th. December 10th. You're in there. You're a month away. So 4 weeks goes by quick. And so it's not only the quarterback position. I'm sure they're going to look at, some other position groups. But, the one thing that they also have to do is make sure that they're, open and honest with the guys on the team. And as whether it's the tight end position, running back position, linebacker position. You can never have enough pass rushers or defensive backs as well. So if somebody falls in their lap, you gotta take them, because we're not in a position to say, all right, we're already set, and one of the guys I think that you could count in the transfer portal or in this kind of recruitment class is Marcus Buford. I think, they waited as long as they could, had some injuries. Obviously, Deshaun Singleton got hurt. And then you have Omar Brown declare for the draft, right? Who I think Omar could have came back and done himself some good, but I think he'll, make a team somehow, some way in the NFL. Well, then you're like, okay, well, that's a guy that was probably our most consistent safety and rover or whatever you want to call it. Well, he's gone. Well, you get 2 guys back because you get a leader in Marcus Buford that gives you position flexibility, and then you get a guy that can make plays. And also you got him into live action without, jeopardizing himself and his career getting hurt in those last 3 or 4 games. So I think with that being said, you should feel very comfortable if you get Isaac Gifford back, Buford, and Deshaun Singleton, you would have one of the better, let's just call them safety groups or, mix of guys coming back in this Tony White system, but you lose a lot at the linebacker position because you lose Luke Reimer, who's your tackler, and then you lose Nick Heinrich from leadership standpoint and injury, kind of retired, and then you don't know what John Bullock's going to do. So that's the only dude you got back, guy that was kind of like a hybrid, found a position, doesn't really have a lot of experience, and then so now you got to really try to replenish it rather quickly. And linebackers are thought of as a dime a dozen. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're really special, right? Levante David and all those dudes.
Right.
But then also those dime a dozens can turn into bronze of booty. I'm serious. Because the funny thing about linebackers, either you can play it or you can't. It's like there's no in between. You know what I'm saying? And if you want an example of like Northwestern, they've always had the good linebackers. They got a good linebacker tradition, linebacker coaches. Penn State, it's either you can play it or you can't. And so you got to have the natural instincts to play it. You got to be extremely smart, tough, selfless at a lot of times. And you're replacing two guys that logged a lot of playing time and made a lot of plays. And more importantly, I always talk to people about this, Harrison. I want your opinion. It's the practice reps as well, because that's where development comes from. Talk about that, how to replace that, because that allows just practice to flow easily versus putting a knucklehead Jay Foreman in there as a freshman and never knowing what you're going to get on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, with Tony White, this is one thing. It seems like all the guys get a little bit of the mix. They're moving them around a lot. So to replenish those practice reps, you hope you got a guy in the wing that understands the system, so you're not just putting up scrubs against each other.
Right.
But with Tony White, I'll say this much: for how much they rotated guys around and all the defensive guys talking, they all seem like they understand the defensive scheme top to bottom, despite the position. And that's one thing with Tony White, where I wonder if that's why they're able to have so much success this first year in a 3-3-5. It looked like all those guys top to bottom understood their role. And if I fail at this point, I'm going to put pressure on my linebacker or so-and-so the safety on the outside. So, I think the best way is just educating the guys. And I do think they got some guys back there. Do we have Gifford back? Do you think he could move up possibly his safety role?
He could. He could move in there like kind of a John Bullock, but I think he's pretty good in his rover. He needs to probably get a little bit better, more consistent, but he made some plays. He found like a home for him.
Javen Wright in that battle too. I wonder, maybe that's your answer. Maybe you do move Gifford up to, or even Wright, because I know Javen Wright was playing pretty well towards the end at that rover position.
Yeah, he played rover. He played linebacker, which is great because it gives you like position flexibility. I think just Javen Wright using his natural God-given talent, which is his size and length, to his advantage. And then you got, MJ Sherman shows some flexibility. You got a young guys like, Dylan Rogers. Obviously, Mekhi Gobert, he gives you a ton of position flexibility. He has linebacker size, being 6'2", 225, 230. And Eric Fields, coming from high school, was a tackling machine. So they have young guys there, and that's part of development, man. And John Bullock, it's a great opportunity for you to step into the guy role, like being the guy from a leadership standpoint, playmaking standpoint. You got to get a ton better, and then you got to bring a lot of these other guys with you. But even a guy like Jamari Butler, he showed last spring that it gives you some position flexibility. So it'll be interesting how they attack that. I think you can attack linebacker a little bit later, even if you get a late transfer after the new year, after spring ball. I do think you can find a guy, because these guys, or at least Tony White and the defensive staff, in my opinion, are really good teachers. So that's how they can have a Jay Foreman transfer after May when school's out, and get into it and be able to play by the first game and be effective. So I don't think that's as imperative as the quarterback position. Maybe another running back based on the injury history, and a wide receiver, and a kind of I call them a two-way tight end.
They have to sell on offense. They don't have what the defensive problem is where if their pitches, it's like, look, we got a system built. You can plug and play. Year one, that defense is rolling. Like, you can get a lot of offense. You got to convince those guys it's not going to be like year one. This is what we're trying to make it. The defense, it's like, here's the product. We can plug you in here and play. offense, you got to show them the dream, because I doubt, our quarterback's trying to be the leading rusher again next season.
You know what, Harrison? That's good. We're going to touch on that before we go to break. There's been rumblings about Marcus Satterfield going from quarterback coach to tight end coach, and maybe that's just kind of part of the process. I think really, to be honest with you, like, I know the offense had struggles, right? Obviously, that goes without saying. But I think you also have to take a step back and look at it as every single week they kind of had a game plan based on who was either available or who was playing good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it didn't work out well, but you could see the conceptually what they were trying to do. So that isn't necessarily a sell. That's something that would actually, if they were recruiting me as a quarterback, I would actually feel comfortable with. Because if you're telling me this is what I have planned for you, I can actually, now it's not the best thing, picture to look at times. But if I'm a more of a drop back quarterback that can run when needed, then I already know and I trust you that you're not going to ask me to be the leading rusher quarterback. You actually you made a game plan and called plays in order just to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I think, is going to, would be part of the approach. And then I think it's a domino effect. You get the quarterback, you get receiver. You get the receiver, you get the quarterback. So really, you just got to get one of them going, and then, then the rest of, kind of fall in place. But then it's also continue to put pressure on the guys that, are playing on the roster right now. The Malachi Colemans, the Dawsons, Jalen Lloyds, like you showed a couple flashes, a couple plays here and there,
mm-hmm.
but you need to step way up. This is, because at the end of the day, they play a lot of receivers. So everybody's going to have a chance to, prove themselves. But more importantly, you got to get better on a continuous basis and don't rest on your laurels. Nobody's entitled to playing. And whether it's high school or college, you're not entitled to anything. You earn it every day. And then the payoff is in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I was on this team and I was say if I was a linebacker on this team, and I would just assume that knuckleheads like us, these talking heads, are saying that they need linebackers, I'd be working right now. I really would. Because November 24th?
Mm-hmm.
You almost played a month ago.
Yeah, and everyone else, all the team, there's a lot of teams still practicing and working right now.
Right.
So if you really want to get ahead, you shouldn't be doing nothing. All the good teams are still playing and working out.
Right. And so you want to be, and it's also trains your mindset on the mental clock and physical clock that you're going to finish out the season when the whole college football season is over. So I would work out, especially right now,
mm-hmm.
maintenance, working on some weaknesses, get ahead in the film study. And then once college football playoffs is over, take a week or two off, and then I'll be 5 steps ahead in winter conditioning. You won't get worn out. That Big Red project over there is like a rejuvenation thing. It's like you can go there and you go in there as one version of yourself, come out as even better every single day. So if the guys take it upon themselves that they want to change the narrative personally and collectively, they definitely have the opportunity to do it. So good first segment. A little transfer portal, what Nebraska should do mindset wise. When we come back, we're going to jump into the college football playoffs, kind of do our picks and see what we do. And then we'll talk about the Heisman winner last night.
Mm-hmm.
Big congrats, Daniels. We'll give our opinions on that as well. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back. This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Allo is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. The holidays are here, and Fairway has everything you need for charcuterie boards, shrimp trays, party platters, wine, beer, spirits, and more. Plus, custom fresh cuts on USDA choice or prime grade beef, all natural pork, fresh chicken, and seafood. Your holiday meals start at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
We're back inside the Huddle. Jay Foreman down here live at 1040 O Street. Harrison to my right. Good soldier over there, getting up early in the morning, battling the sleep elements like always. The Heisman was last night, man. It was wasn't as much hype, but I think they had really the 4 best players. Now you could, there's always exception to the rule, but they had Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr., Bo Nix, and Michael Penix Jr. And to be honest with you, with Caleb Williams winning it, the Pac-12 had a really good quarterback class, really good year for the last year of the Pac-12. And obviously, Bo Nix from Oregon and Michael Penix Jr. Really showed out this year. And then you have Jaden Daniels, who was, really burst on the scene at Arizona State, transferred from Arizona State to LSU when Brian Kelly took over. Kind of his first year was a little bit of up and down. But really, the thing that's funny, and this is a good story for high school athletes and college athletes trying to make it. When you leave and how people treat you when you leave is something that can motivate you and you never forget. So and I get it. His teammates were mad he transferred. I get it. But Arizona State was facing some potential NCAA violations and he had an opportunity to better himself. and who knows the dynamics of it, right? But they took everything out of his locker, posted on the internet. He sucks anyways, and da 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 da. And then he goes to LSU under Brian Kelly's first year, does some good things. Burst on the scene late in the year, and then this year he really was. It was almost like he was like Bo Jackson on Tecmo Bowl. He was Lamar Jackson-esque. Generally when you win the Heisman, your team has to be, up in the top 10. And that's where you think like a Marvin Harrison Jr. or you would also assume that Michael Penix Jr. would win it. But Jaden Daniels was able to win it. It was it was close, but not too close. And
yeah, it says it was closest since 2018.
Right.
He won it with 503. Michael Penix Jr. was 292.
Right. So that was close, but not
still about
close.
100 votes off.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's a lot of votes too. Rightfully so. I mean, he had a legendary year. Lost a few games, but it wasn't on of his doing. The defense of LSU that everybody thought was going to be really stellar this year really didn't play up to the standard that they had been playing. And that Florida State game really shows some chinks in the LSU defense's armor. The one thing that I think that people don't realize, and this is reference to Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix, when you have two players from the same conference, they cannibalize each other, right? Because they're in the same. So if only Michael Penix was there, even if 3/4 of those votes goes to Michael Penix, and if Bo Nix isn't in the mix, then he potentially wins it. Vice versa. So I kind of knew that they weren't going to win it, but I felt like Michael Penix had a fighter's chance, considering that his team's undefeated in the college football playoffs. He's been putting up stupid numbers. He had two kind of so-so games. And this is also what you also have to be wary of. Whereas USC is a blue blood, Washington is a good program. I wouldn't call them a blue blood. Is those stupid 9:00 Friday night Pac-12 games. Now I'm sure they're going to be excited that the Big Ten's not going to do it, but those games people already turn off.
Yeah, it's late.
It's late, and you're not getting a lot of voters to watch it. LSU plays in prime time. They're playing, down south, East Coast, so that's where a lot of the voters are. So Jaden Daniels was able to do it, and then Marvin Harrison was pulling up the last leg on the 4x1. Probably is obviously the best player, I think, in college football. He's a professional.
Talking about Marvin Harrison?
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. is easily the best player. It's almost like too easy for him. You wonder how motivated he can be because he's just out there just like, all right, man, I have 100 yards and, 5 catches. And,
It does make me interested in Kyle McCord a little more. I know, there's a chance if he does land here in Nebraska, what does that look like without the number one receiver in the country, a guy that was getting open at will?
Yeah, well, if you listen to Urban Meyer and if you listen to quarterbacks, those 2 interceptions against Michigan weren't his fault. And he didn't have it took a while for Ohio State to get healthy. Marvin Harrison missed a couple games. Fleming, what's the Ojigba? Is it Ojigba? Yeah, Ojigba was hurt.
Yeah, Ojigba
and then Travion Henderson was in and out of the lineup. And so they didn't have their full roster of game 1 to game 12. And so he was able to make do with some guys that, had to, come along the learning process with them. So, it's just they got to evaluate, and then they got to be able to match, back to, Nebraska, match it to whatever he can do. But as far as Marvin Harrison goes, Jr. goes, he's quite frankly, he's got the biggest decision of his life coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
He'd look good in the Bears jersey.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Are they the number 1 pick?
Yeah, they'll have the number 1 and number 2 as of right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you think the Bears draft a quarterback?
I think they do. I think they take Caleb Williams. If I'm the Bears, I'm not taking it, but I think they do. I think they reset, they buy time. It's not my quarterback. Well, if they go with Fields, they have a guy, cuts down on the clock. You get your quarterback, you buy yourself a little bit of time.
And you're that another year closer to a renewal of the contract.
Yep.
Man. I guess you could if you get your quarterback, get your receiver. You always feel like you can you spend a lot of money in free agency on your defense. I could see that, especially with a new coach. Now the big question: are you a Bears fan?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. So we'll just get a little bit off kilter here. Okay. You're the owner of the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming down and you're sitting with the GM, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're Kevin Warren. You make the decision to draft Caleb Williams or Drake May or a quarterback, number 1, and Marvin Harrison Jr. So you got your future, right? Finally, supposedly. Because the Bears have never really had a really good quarterback or receiver.
No.
It's the weirdest thing. People said Willie Gall, Curtis Conway. I would give you Curtis Conway.
Okay.
Quarterback, no. Right? I mean, this is
that's facts. You ask a Bears fan who's the best. It's usually pretty wide-eyed stares.
Jim McMahon, but he was never healthy. Let me ask you this, Harrison / Kevin Warren. After you do the draft, do you fire your GM? Because he's been under a lot of heat as well.
Yeah.
Because now, do you fire him because you want a new GM, but he drafted him, and a new coach? Or do you put the GM, say, okay, we're going to go out and hire the coach or not? Because if you hire a new coach, he's kind of tied to the GM. You keep the GM, and you hire a new coach, you're in bed with him.
I get a new GM and I'll be like, let's go take a trip down to Michigan. I know a guy. We're trying to grab Jim.
Do you think Kevin Warren can put aside all the personal stuff to get Jim Harbaugh?
He better. Like, if I'm Kevin Warren, I'm putting it aside. Like, you need to new coaching staff. I would keep Fields, but
let's just peel it back.
Can't keep Eberflus.
Okay,
there.
So if you're Kevin Warren, you fire the GM.
Yeah,
you got to fire him first.
He's gone,
right? And the coach. And then you're hiring the GM with the assumption that you're drafting a quarterback. Because you're going to have the number 1 and number 2 pick, most likely. Worst case, 1 and 3?
Yep.
Okay, so you're picking whoever you want. Now, you could always, if you lose Marvin Harrison at the number 2 pick, you could get an offensive lineman, which the Bears obviously always need, right?
Yep.
Or you could trade out of it. You could do a ton of stuff. Where would you send Justin Fields?
Someone's going to want to fly around him. I would love to keep Fields personally, but I know if you're going to go down that route, they're going to want another quarterback. What do you think? Would you keep Fields?
I would. I think Justin Fields could be, if you get a good coach, and to be frank, if you got Jim Harbaugh, and see, you got to think Jim Harbaugh has more intel on Justin Fields than anybody because he's played against him, coached against him. If you get a good coach like Jim Harbaugh, a legit coach that's kind of coached a Justin Fields-esque, right? And I would tell you this. I will tell you, Justin Fields is a 10 times better quarterback and more potential than Colin Kaepernick. He's probably on the level of like Alex Smith, even though Alex Smith was a little bit more polished, right? He gives you more of a run threat. He can get out there on the edges. You can do everything that they had done to be successful. And he has a good arm. And he wants to be good. If I'm hiring Jim Harbaugh, I'm giving him the choice to keep Fields. Because he's the head coach.
Yeah.
/ GM. The GM there is just going to be a name, image, and likeness. Pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So I would keep Justin Fields. And then I would get Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'd get a blue chip lineman as well.
And I would get a blue chip lineman.
Yeah. Like, it just saved me a pick.
Or if there's a blue chip defensive player, I would trade down and maybe get 2 first round picks out of one of the top. If I got Marvin Harrison Jr. and I need to trade it to number 3 and somebody has 2 first round picks, I'm getting a lineman and a defensive lineman. I'm building my team.
Which is what they need to do, because that's the thing. It's like everyone's like, oh man, they just can't. It's not bad. They're putting up points.
Right.
Like offensively, it could be better, but that's not the issue. Is they're giving up 30 points a game.
Right. You need to build that defense back up from when they pretty much jettisoned everybody. I need more out of Eddie Jackson. You got a really good corner. You spent a ton of money on Edwards as the linebacker. In Edwards and Edmonds. They've played so I'm putting the pressure on them to play well. I think their defensive line is decent. Now you need to get a pass rusher, and that's what you could get out of the draft or trade for somebody. Legit pass rusher. So I think it's going to be crucial to what the Bears do. But now we got off a little bit of a tangent. But now I know that you're a Bears fan, man. I know I got to give you a hug every once in a while because watching the Bears,
right? When they hold the future in their hands, they don't always make the right decisions.
No, they don't.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here.
Who do you think the Bears' worst draft pick is in your history of being a Bears fan?
Oh man, pick any of the quarterbacks. Any of the quarterbacks flamed out.
Rex Grossman
flamed out.
He was alright. He got you the Super Bowl.
Rex Grossman, what era was that?
Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler. I mean, he's such a weird one because he actually, for one point in time, Jay Cutler, they looked pretty good. You know, they're playing the Packers for the NFC North, and it's like, oh, we got a guy here. And then the whole thing just flamed.
Let me ask you this: did you really believe Jay Cutler was hurt?
When I was watching, like, yeah, I was a Jay Cutler guy.
No, but did you really think he was hurt that game? And then
when the backup came in and they lost, I thought
when the backup came in and they won, right?
No, they lost to the Packers. Are we talking about the NFC North game where the Packers?
When he had that kind of fictitious hamstring injury, the backup came in and played well, and then he played the next week. Isn't that what happened?
I think we might be thinking about different game. I'm thinking about the where he goes hurt. Packers come back and win the NFC North. But I always believed Jay Cutler, and towards the very end there, I really stopped believing him because it was fictitious.
Yeah, I think it was something.
He just simply didn't want to go back in.
Yeah.
He was done.
Yeah, that was it.
That was clear.
Well, he was done because they were losing bad, and then the backup came in and got him back in, and then I think they lost at the very end because isn't that when B.J. Raji had the interception to win the game? Remember big B.J. Raji from the Packers came in and he did the dance, the belly rub dance. But anyways, little bit of a tangent there with Harrison. That Harrison is a Bears fan. Listen, Bears fan, I understand, man. I was a Buffalo Bill alumni, and you didn't make the playoffs for 15 years. It was a sore subject. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the last time I think we were there,
you might even have more painful history with the Bills because like you were like right there. You can at least see it.
Music City Miracle.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it in live action. That's a nightmare, man. I feel you though. If you let me ask you this, we'll get back to college football. Michigan versus Alabama, who you picking?
Michigan versus Alabama. Give me Michigan. Michigan takes down the SEC, Alabama.
Well, what about Texas and Washington?
Give me Michigan. Or excuse me, Texas, Washington. I think Texas wins that one. Well, I'll be curious to see what that West Coast style does. But Texas looks like a team that can count out physical you and bull you. And they got enough speed on the outside where they might be able to keep Penix Jr. in check.
Oh, okay. So now the national championship is Texas and Michigan.
And I'm going Michigan. I think this is the year Michigan pulls it out. I think top to bottom, they've been consistently the best.
Damn. Harrison, you know how insufferable college football would be if either one of them schools wins? It would be horrible. Yes, I don't even know if I'd like college football. If Texas wins, it sucks.
That's the one I really don't want.
If Michigan wins, it sucks as well.
Ideally, we get Alabama versus Washington. Washington wins it all. That'd be my ideal.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But if either one of them two teams wins, it's going to be a horrible offseason. And I'm struggling with who, if they do get in, because I think you're probably right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Michigan, Texas is who I want to win. And as much as I hate Texas, part of me is like, yeah, I want Texas to win. I hate Michigan.
It was a tough spot watching the Big Ten championship with Iowa and Michigan. I hated both those teams.
Yeah.
You knew Michigan was going to win. It was boring to watch.
I was fine with them beating up on Iowa, just because it's just Iowa, right?
Game didn't really.
But I
much.
just hate Michigan though,
mm-hmm.
and hate Michigan because they split with us in '97. They weren't even close as good as us, but they were undefeated, so that's fine. And I've always hated Michigan players. And it's funny, one of my high school teammates played at Michigan. I like him, but I hate the players. Now, granted, I'm a big Tom Brady fan, but some of the linemen and stuff like that, I always hated Michigan. In the Big Ten, we've interviewed some of their media personalities and stuff like that. It's not. They think the world revolves up there in Ann Arbor. They definitely have an elitist type of mentality,
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me not like them as much. But then you got Texas. And it's just Texas. Just everything Texas does, man, is just they think. Here's the one thing I learned, Harrison. Never forget when I got traded from Buffalo to Houston. I never really spent a lot of time in Texas. I always heard, you know what I mean? Just You heard about it. I mean, the only time I think we played down there, and that was it. You're in and out. The one thing I realized, and I had a great time in Houston. I still have a lot of lifelong friends in Houston. I love the city of Houston. I like Texas as well, as far as to live. But the people that are like homegrown Texas, the true Texans, that wear them big old 50-gallon cowboy hats and stuff, they really think that they could be their own country. They really think the United States is built around Texas.
Yeah.
And I never
power grid. They'll talk about that a lot.
Right.
We got our power grid. We could always
they can
really
survive on their own. You could batten down the hatches and they could do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I think pours into the University of Texas. And so it's just it's a different mentality, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. They play here pretty soon, but look, like I said before we go to break, if I'm a Nebraska player, that inspires me, right? Even on a smaller scale, we beat we should have beat 2 or 3 other bowl teams, but we beat Northwestern, who had a really good year this year. We beat Illinois, so you're not too far off, but you are you're so close, but yet so far.
Yeah, and I can't take that anymore, right? Like we just saw Northwestern,
right?
There's no
with a hazing incident.
Yeah, and they won. Was it 7 games they finished out the season with 7 wins?
Yeah.
Like I'm not buying.
It's like they woke up after
anymore.
we beat them.
Yeah, I'm not buying the time thing anymore. Like I get it, it's tough.
Yeah,
you should have found a way to get to 6. You had 4 games left to do it. I'm gonna trust Matt Rule. I'm not saying he's not the guy, but I'm still not okay with not going bowling this year, especially watching Northwestern do it. Wisconsin gets to 7. Like
I would make. You know what I would do? I would make the team go in there and watch. Granted, they'll all be gone on Christmas break, but that's what would be in their like little iPads. Good morning, Merry Christmas. I'm watching to see if you watch this game. So that's what I would do, man. But we're going to take a break, come back, put a bow on this, hand it over to Pete Ferguson. This is Jay Foreman Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back. This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Happy holidays from Hamilton. As we celebrate the joy of this holiday season, we are grateful for our loyal customers, the communities we serve, and our outstanding employees. Hamilton takes great pride in connecting and protecting your business with the latest in telecommunications and technology solutions. From our Hamilton family to yours, we wish you a merry and bright holiday season and prosperous new year. Happy holidays from all of us here at Hamilton.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, will treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Doren. God bless you.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals. And get your lift with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
You're listening to Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
What up? We're back real quick before we hand it off to Pete Ferguson. Inside the Huddle, Jay Foreman, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Unknown texter. I do say what's up to people on the street. I didn't see anybody this morning. Did you?
Nah, we must have missed it. I wonder if it's a drive-by wave.
Yeah.
In the car.
Yeah, I probably was. Listen, it's early, man. Give us a break. Dang.
Yeah.
You know.
Do another lap, 4290. We'll catch you on
do
the
another
second
lap.
time.
I got you. Hey, I did wave to the person that had the Grinch riding shotgun. We're trying to get a fan cam for like a fan cam, like the best stuff.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, we need a sponsor. So we're out there. Jake and Nick, you need to get out there, find a sponsor for it. But good talk. Obviously, we jumped off a little bit of the Bears, but we'll do a little inside the huddle here, Harrison. Philly and the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Who you picking?
Eagles. I know we got Pete back there if he's hearing
Cowboys?
it, but yeah, he's big Cowboys. Pete Ferguson, hear it every Sunday.
Yeah.
He'll give his Cowboys take, but
hey,
give me the Eagles. I'm not
I was almost going to think like I want the Cowboys to win. Man, I hate the Cowboys too. I hate the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? I used to like them because I was a big Emmitt Smith fan.
Mm-hmm.
It was back when I thought I could be a running back. But, man, when I would play for Texas, man, I ain't like the Cowboys, man. I ain't never pushing for the Cowboys. I feel bad for them, though. I wouldn't mind seeing Dak having some success. But then the Cowboy fans are just different, man.
They're like the Laker fans.
They're like
just too many.
They're like the Chiefs now. All of a sudden, well, Chiefs fans are probably rampant around here. But Chiefs fans, here's the problem with Chiefs fans. If you ever follow them on Twitter,
mm-hmm.
is they think everybody cares that the Chiefs won. And everybody's life is okay when the Chiefs win.
Yeah.
They'll text you, hey, I don't care. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm a Patrick. I love Andy Reid and all them, but it's like I'm not sleeping better because the Chiefs won the AFC West again, and you got the best quarterback one of this generation right now.
Yeah, they're easy to pick out though. You just got to ask them what their opinion is on Alex Smith, and if they like him, that's a real Chiefs fan.
Right.
If they don't know who he is or didn't like him,
oh yeah,
not Chiefs fan.
Yeah,
that's my Mahomes fan.
It's crazy that when you think about that and you talk about the quarterbacks, you potentially like if Justin Fields and the new quarterback
mm-hmm.
is that Andy Reid knew what he had when you're getting rid of a guy that got you to the AFC Championship. And when they lost the last AFC Championship, it wasn't on him.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the defense. So essentially he played well enough to get you to the Super Bowl. But then when you got a Hall of Fame and the next generation quarterback there, it makes it a little bit easier. But Alex Smith, I think I think Andy Reid really solidified his career. If he would have stayed, he was good under Harbaugh,
mm-hmm.
but Harbaugh left. But I felt like Andy Reid took his second half of his career, and that's very rarely does it happen because he struggled when I played with Alex in San Francisco. I was just on the team. It was my last year. He was a young kid, a very good dude, very good rookie. Had no experience, really wasn't ready for the NFL to be the number one pick, but he extremely hard worker. Feel bad for him that Trent Dilfer was his veteran, because Trent Dilfer is a first class a-hole. But you know what? He was able to, overcome that and overcome some injuries and end up playing well and really solidified himself as a legit. And he's on TV now. Smart kid too.
Yeah, and he gets his flowers. Mahomes gives him flowers all the time.
Well, he was
for teaching him the game.
He was a good veteran, and I think Andy Reid probably taught him how to do that. Smart dude, good looking dude, really, really solid all around person. Alex Smith. So, it's a good lesson. Embrace competition. It's never over, right? And then you never know. You can end up being Alex Smith, or you can end up being Jaden Daniels, win a Heisman. So that's it for Inside the Huddle. Be on the lookout for schedule changes. Me and Harrison are running on fumes. We're going to finish out this year like a champion, though, man. We might even Harrison. We might go 2 hours on our last one. We'll go 6, right?
We can do that. Yeah.
We'll just go. How about we just do 20? Is this an unknown texter? Is he coming? There he is. Look, just got the Patriots. He's a Patriot fan. Anyways, Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. We are out. We'll see you next week.